What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode here of the Side Guys Football Forum. I'm one of your co-hosts on the side, joined as always by my good friend, my good buddy, the other half of the Side Guys, Tad the Side. And Tad, heading into week 4, got some late breaking news. We're going to cover this maybe a little bit as we get further along in our episode.
Let me interrupt you because first off, R.I.P. Woj. But
Yeah.
Carl Anthony Towns is a Nick. What is happening?
That is pretty wild.
We are going live. Well, we're not live, but we are going breaking news with this. That's the breaking news you're talking about, right?
No. I was actually relating it to the NFL here, but Davante Adams of the Las Vegas Raiders will not be playing this weekend, along with Max Crosby as well.
Oh, they're
so yeah, those are key players on both sides of the football for the Las Vegas Raiders that they'll be missing this weekend. So in our Start Sit episode today that we're going to be discussing, we will give you some other options as far as who are guys that you may want to start in place of Davante Adams specifically. We don't dive into IDP that much, but definitely hit us up on all of our social media handles. It's coming out right below. We'll play it at the end of the show too. But yeah, hit us up if you need some IDP replacements. Me and Tad can definitely help you out there. But yeah, 2 key pieces for the Raiders will not be playing this weekend.
So we're not doing the NBA offseason trade episode?
No, because you're going to forget that all these guys, like, I bet you don't even remember that Paul George is a member of the 76ers now.
He's a 76ers?
Yeah, exactly. I knew it. I knew you wouldn't remember that at all.
Deleting my Jimmy Butler notes.
Yeah, don't need your Jimmy
Sure,
Butler.
Jimmy
Butler. Future warrior Jimmy
I was about to say Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, straight up. It's a fair trade.
Not happening. But guys, I mean, with all this talk about, especially Carl Anthony Towns being a member of the New York Knicks now, Paul George being a member of the 76ers, this could affect a lot of things when it comes to your when your sports betting, this season, with the NBA season, which is tipping off next season. And so this is the key time to really start doing your research with our good friends at Underdog Fantasy, because I mean, you could bet on the NBA. Like I said, that's tipping off next weekend. The WNBA is in the middle of their playoffs. That's starting off this weekend. You got the MLB regular season that is coming to the final weekend this weekend, and the playoffs are starting for the MLB baseball there. You got the NFL, obviously. You got college football. There's a lot of things you can be betting on right now. Bet with our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. And right now, if you use our promo code DESAI, that's DESAI, you can double up on your initial deposit of $10 or more, up to $500, courtesy of our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. So right now, if you use our promo code DESAI, DESAI, and you bet that max amount $500, Underdog will match that dollar for dollar, and you can bet with up to $1,000 on their betting platform. You can use the website, very easy to use. You can use the apps, both the Android and Apple devices, very easy to use on those as well. So take advantage of this offer. We're giving it to you again. Once again, that promo code is DESAI, DESAI. Double up on your initial deposit of $10 or more, up to $500, courtesy of our good friends at Underdog Fantasy.
Russell Wilson is a Nick Nugget. Damn it. I messed up the joke.
Yeah, you did. That is just so bad. That is so bad.
That was going to be a good one, too. Damn it.
Yeah, terrible.
I got Knicks on the brain. They're doing weird stuff.
Yeah, the Knicks are doing interesting stuff, but yeah. All right, Tad, let's sort of shift to, we already brought up the Davante Adams news at the very top of the episode here. Let's get into our week 4 starts and sits. We'll start at the quarterback position like we always do and move through every position. We'll get to receivers in just a little bit here, but at the quarterback position here, Tad, in week 4, do you have a start or do you have a sit for me?
I got to sit and look, before this fan base starts yelling at me. I'm a believer. Call me Smash Mouth. I finally think he is a legit NFL quarterback. I was there when he was drafted into the NFL. But I'm telling you, for this week only, and I truly mean this week only, because I think he's a viable starter until we get a clearer picture on how he's doing. I think you sit Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, okay.
I think you sit him. I understand he's a hot starter. He's scored over 15 points each of his last 3 starts. But with that knee bruise, and I understand he's like, I'm 100%. But you know what he said in that very same press conference is, well, I'm 100%, but I'm taking it day by day. I don't like that. I don't like that whatsoever. And especially like with, Jordan Addison's status as a recording still in question. I feel like this offense has been working pretty well because it's seemingly the only completely healthy offense in the NFL. Sorry about McCaffrey, buddy. What the hell is he doing in Germany?
Seeing a specialist. Those Germans know what they're doing about Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah, specialist, and Peyton Manning's wife was getting those shipments. Point being is, everyone's hurt except for the Vikings. I think everyone's like, what's going on with the Vikings? I think that's what's happening, is that they're healthy. And so I'm not saying Darnold's going to have a bad week, but I just don't quite know how healthy he is. And so I think that especially if you're quarterback needy, especially there's a team in my league. I tried to pull off a trade with them earlier this week. And I contacted him. I'm like, I want Joe Mixon. Because, by the way, I really like Joe Mixon. I think he's going to, despite speaking of injuries, despite the questionable tag on him, I really want him on my fantasy team. And he just texted me back going, everyone on my team is hurt.
Yeah.
I was just like, so no deal? He's like, no deal. I was like, okay, fair enough. Jeremy, there you go for some insider trading info. But bottom line being is, that I don't know how this Vikings offense functions once it's not fully healthy, and it's not. I don't think Justin Jefferson is fully healthy. I don't think Sam Darnold is fully healthy. And I think that while they are worthy of starts later on in the season, let's hold back a week on Sam Darnold, not Justin Jefferson. If you have Justin Jefferson, start him. But point being is, I think Sam Darnold will be fine, but I don't think he's going to score. I think this will be the first week where he scores under 15 points.
Interesting. They do have a tough matchup. They're playing the Green Bay Packers this weekend. You could see more of a revenge game by Aaron Jones, former Green Bay Packer, obviously. So it's like maybe they'll feature more of him in the run game, maybe a little bit of the pass game as well. So yeah, especially if Sam Darnold is coming into the game a little bit hindered by an injury, I could see them leaning more on the ground. And also, the Packers present a pretty tough defense overall as well.
I have some stats for you there.
Yeah, they've been sort of picking up the slack, in the absence of Jordan Love the past couple of weeks. Jordan Love is still a question mark to play in this week here in week 4 as well. So if he doesn't play, maybe they lean on the defense one more time to support Malik Willis to hopefully get a win in the division here. So yeah, sitting Sam Darnold this week, not a bad idea for sure.
So the Packers defense has held 2 of the 3 last quarterbacks they've held for under 15 points. The one they've allowed to go over 15 points is Jalen Hurts. He only scored 16 points against them.
Yeah,
so
I watched
Packers,
that game. Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough go.
Didn't that game break records for viewers?
Did it?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, Friday night NFL opening weekend. I feel like it had to.
No, I'm pretty sure that's pretty safe to say. But I remember that game. Just the biggest complaint was the field, obviously, and you had a lot of just questionable play. But Jalen Hurts did not have a stellar game. So for him to still get 16 points is still impressive. And then that defense played pretty well though.
But bottom line, that defense has been playing. I mean, Jair Alexander was funny. He was complaining last season, like, I don't get enough picks. I'm pretty sure he's had 3 picks at this point.
One was a pick 6.
Exactly. He has turned that absolute Xavier McKinney. My God, what a signing! I thought that was an overpay.
Every single game so far.
Yeah, I thought that was an overpay, but good call, Packers. But bottom line being is this defense is absolutely legit. So don't really love a kind of hobbled Sam Darnold against this pretty hot Packers defense.
Yeah, I like that. For sure. I'm going to go start. And I think this is a guy that, we both talked about this guy as a potential, overcome Caleb Williams as the front runner to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think this is the guy because of just his involvement in the offense is just going to lead to him putting the team more on his shoulders compared to Caleb Williams. And that guy is Jayden Daniels, and he's playing the Arizona Cardinals this week. I'm saying, smash that start button. This guy is going to have a monster game. Daniels is currently your QB3 in fantasy football leagues, and this includes, Tad, the Thursday night game where 2 quarterbacks have played an extra game. Jayden Daniels is still your quarterback 3, so he is looking pretty good. This is a crazy stat too, Tad. He's only thrown 2 touchdown passes through 3 weeks of action now, and he's still your quarterback 3 in fantasy football circles this now. He is second among all quarterbacks in rushing yards. That is part of the reason as to why he's your QB3, and he leads all quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns. So that is the bigger thing there. Lots of rushing touchdowns. He is tied for 5th in the entire NFL in rushing touchdowns. Like, that's how much he is rushing the ball right now in that Washington offense for sure. He has seemed to just sort of grasp this Cliff Kingsbury offense just right off the bat. It seems like it's a pretty good connection right now. Early parts of the season, I think you need to ride that continuing here. Like I said, Arizona presents a very good matchup for Daniels to just continue his hot start. On the flip side, though, like, I didn't go with this option here, but Kyler Murray, Washington's defense is absolutely terrible. So I like Kyler Murray for sure as a start as well, but I wanted to go with the more of a subtle pick as a start here. I think both quarterbacks in this game, it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I bet both these teams are going to put up at least 24 points in this game. I think it's going to go very back and forth between both these offenses. You got the Cliff Kingsbury revenge game aspect, the former team of the Arizona Cardinals. He was the head coach there, so I could see him just, putting in a handful of extra plays that's like, oh, I didn't get a chance to run this because I just didn't have full faith in Kyler Murray. Maybe he's going to be like, you know what? I'm just going to show you what I can do here with Jayden Daniels instead. So, yeah, I can see very much Jayden Daniels benefiting from Cliff Kingsbury and the revenge aspect this week. So, yeah, Jayden Daniels, after this week, if he has another solid week, I think, we maybe were a little premature with the Derek Carr stuff last week. But I think with another solid week here by Jayden Daniels, I think he's entering that conversation of every week starter.
Yeah, nothing's as subtle like, hey, start the QB3.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
no, but
I feel like just like as a rookie and you look at all the other top quarterbacks out there, I think just that's why it's a little bit more quote unquote.
No, and I was giving you shit, but I will 100% back up, like, because that exact feeling of even just days before that Monday night game, I traded for Jayden Daniels. I didn't feel great about it at the time. And I started Jayden Daniels over Brock Purdy, and that was the decision. And Brock Purdy, by the way, had a very good week. He actually almost had my game. If I had gotten my notes
injuries to his key players too, he still had a sensation.
No, he did look legit. But I was very much debating, do I start Brock Purdy? Do I start Daniels? I was like, I just got to do Daniels. Like, I just traded for him. I got to do it. Thank God. Because that was, statistically, that was the best rookie.
That was his best game.
Quarterback. No, not his best game. That was the best rookie quarterback performance we've ever seen on a Monday Night Football game. It was awesome. I was losing my mind. All my friends were making fun of me because I was down by 5. And I was like, what if I lose? They're like, oh, yeah. How's that looking now? I was like, yeah, fair. But no, it's the exact same thing where I'm still a little nervous. He's starting for me this week. But it's exactly like what you said. You just got to ride this hot streak. You just got to write it and hope for the best. And my biggest thing is, like, and we talked about this a lot during the draft process, is the way he plays, he should get hurt, but something about him, just, he falls the right way. I know that sounds really dumb, but it's not a Robert Griffin III where he's getting like flung every which way. And you're just like, oh, this dude just can't handle it. Or a young Lamar Jackson where it's like, dude, just like run out of bounds, or dude, just like slide. Jayden Daniels just looks like he can take these hits. So and maybe I'm just talking myself into my own quarterback at this point, but I really think he has that longevity to really, have a really sustained, successful career in the NFL. I'm excited for this guy.
I think the bigger thing, Tad, is that it's not just running, but it's running smart. Right? Where it's like, young Lamar Jackson, it's like he set himself to get into these situations where it's like, okay, now I'm questionable heading into the next week. Whereas like Jayden Daniels is like making the smart decisions when he's running the football, running out of bounds. He's learning to slide now. So just,
but that's what I mean is like take
that make the difference.
Fall forward. Don't try to be like, I'm going to be the hero. Like, nope. All right. You got me. I'm down.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, Jayden Daniels, I think, may be entering that conversation of every week starter. So rushing attack, obviously we talked about Jayden Daniels, but let's actually get to the running backs now here, Tad. Do you have a start or sit for me?
Very unfortunately, I have a sit. And this is a very, very risky sit.
Okay.
Because he is on my team. And God damn it, I have to play him. I don't want to. And so, if you're like me and you have no choice but to start this man, I want you to cross your fingers with me. I want you, if you're that type of person, I want you to pray with me. I want you to wear your lucky jersey. I want you to do whatever the hell you can to make sure this guy does well, because I really don't think he will. Because goddamn it, I need him to do well. And so far, he's been screwing me back and forth. If you had the chance I'm telling you to sit Josh Jacobs.
Okay, sit Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, and I will tell you why. How about this for an insane stat? Who is Josh Jacobs playing this season? Or this week?
The season.
I fixed my mistake. Let's not focus on it. Who is he playing this week?
I brought it up a little earlier, but they're playing the Minnesota Vikings this week.
Do you want to hear an absolutely insane stat? I swear to God, this is true.
Let's hear it.
Through the last 3 games, the Minnesota Vikings have allowed a total, not per game, not per opponent, same thing, whatever. They've allowed a total of 171 rushing yards. Insane stat on its own, right?
Yeah.
Through 3 games. 100 of those yards went to Jordan Mason in week 1.
That's an impressive stat.
Josh Jacobs is so fucked. He is so screwed, and I hate it because he has yet to score a touchdown. He has yet to top 15 fantasy points, and he has struggled against the Titans.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's just so bad. So if you're like me, where you don't have a backup option, I'm sorry. I'm with you, buddy. I feel your pain. So I'm saying sit Josh Jacobs and just pray for the best. Damn cheeseheads.
So you're saying sit Josh Jacobs, like even if have the option to sort of start him, you're saying to sit.
Oh no. I'm saying if you're in the situation where you had to start him like I do, I mean you gotta start him. You're forcing your hand. But if let's say, how about this? If you were in between Tony Pollard or Josh Jacobs, I'd rather play Tony Pollard.
Okay. Very interesting. So I actually have a sit the running back position as well.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What?
Usually we sort of offshoot these things where it's like we have a start.
Not usually. You agree to the start. I agree to the sit.
No, I don't think that's
exactly that is absolutely how it works out. Don't you get me started on this. No. Don't you be laughing this off. I said I would sit.
You would sit who?
Josh. Well, I didn't tell you who because it's supposed to be a surprise.
Sure it is.
It's like your shitty 8th birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. It's like surprise. It's like, oh great, I get to have shitty pizza. So wait, you got to sit?
I do have a sit at the running back position here.
Oh fuck. All right, let's do a start then.
Do a start then.
Okay. You ready for this? Because I actually have a great story behind this. So I wake up Sunday morning, last Sunday. Wow, it's weird. I have such a good start ready to go all of a sudden. With a friend of mine, shout out Jeremy, already mentioned. And he goes, hey, DeAndre Swift is going to tear your Colts apart, right? And I'm like, yeah, probably. Well, of course, we all know how this is going to end. But anyways, and he's just okay, cool. So I'll start him. I'm like, yeah, probably a good call because the Colts run defense is just non-existent. And so I was like, okay, cool. And obviously for any of you who watch, you all know how that Colts Bears game turned out, which is Chernobyl of the NFL, I feel like is fair. Just slow, unfolding, uninteresting. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say uninteresting. Disaster. So anyway, I decided to look at my friend Jeremy's matchup, thinking that he had put DeAndre Swift as his flex. No. He benched this player for DeAndre. He put DeAndre Swift as his running back too. And I immediately texted him. I'm like, I didn't tell you to bench this guy for Swift. He just goes, I didn't trust him. Do you want to know who that player was?
Saquon Barkley?
Oh God, no. He's not that dumb.
I don't know.
Give Jeremy a little credit. Jeremy benched Aaron Jones for DeAndre Swift.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. I was like, why would you bench him? He was like, because I don't trust him. Guys, I'm telling you, and Jeremy, I'm sorry to put you on blast like this, buddy, but I'm telling you, and I told you at the time, don't make that mistake again. Aaron Jones gets too much volume. He's gone for over 15 points in 2 of the last 3 games. He is a core piece. And how about this? This is a point I brought up last week as well in one of our episodes. I forgot which one. But Aaron Jones is a key part of this receiving game as well. That's where his value comes from. He's had 5 receptions in each of his last 2 games. Exactly 5, which is a little freaky. But anyway, point being is, even if Jordan Addison comes back, Aaron Jones is going to be, I think, like kind of the third receiver in this short passing game. It's going to be Justin Jefferson deep, Jordan Addison middle, Aaron Jones shallow. And plus, Aaron Jones has looked really good running the ball as well. And the Packers have not had the best running game defense either. They're really good against the pass. They're not so great against the run. So I think Aaron Jones I don't think he's going to blow up for a good game, but if you're like my friend Jeremy, like, do I start Aaron Jones? Because get this, he's only started in 65% of ESPN leagues. Surprisingly low for me. So I think that if you're kind of bouncing, do I start him? Do I not? I think Aaron Jones is an excellent start this week.
If you're debating between a situation of like DeAndre Swift or Aaron Jones, 100% go with Aaron Jones this week. I already brought up the fact that they're playing the the Vikings are playing the Green Bay Packers. That's a revenge game. You got a good chance that Aaron Jones will be a key part of the game plan this week. So I expect him to have a pretty solid week this week for sure. And just, DeAndre Swift, I'm hearing they're going to give Roschon Johnson more touches in this backfield. They want to give him an extended look this weekend. So DeAndre Swift is not looking like a good signing by the Chicago Bears so far. So I very much like that Aaron Jones pick for sure this week. Now, I'm going to go with the guy as a sit here, but I'm still believing him as far as season long. Just I think this week is probably a really good sit this week.
He's your Sam Darnold.
J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins against the Kansas City Chiefs. So, like I said, still believe in the guy. I'm still riding the train that I was riding all offseason, that this is the guy that's going to lead the backfield for the Chargers and be a surprise top running back in the NFL, in fantasy football leagues as well. Unfortunately, he just has a lot working against him this week. First, Kansas City has prevented opposing running backs from generating a lot of fantasy points. In week 1, Tad, they held Derrick Henry to only 10.6 fantasy points in PPR leagues. In week 2, they held Zach Moss to only 5.7 fantasy points in PPR leagues once again. And then in week 3, Bijan Robinson, a lot of people's top running back this year in fantasy drafts, only 13.2 fantasy points. A little bit better, but still like not what you expect from Bijan Robinson, a lot of people's most probably first round draft pick in this year's fantasy draft for sure. So I think just that's a lot speaking for this Kansas City Chiefs defense. They got a lot that they're working on as far as the run defense to prevent anybody from really doing much against them on the ground. Second, Justin Herbert is not potentially, he's out.
He's gonna be out. He's
potentially on that sort of, call about possibly being a game time decision. I bet you that's what's going to happen. He hasn't been practicing this week, but also along with that, Tad, we already brought up Rashawn Slater has not been practicing this week, and also added to the practice report as far as not practicing Joe Alt, their rookie, their 5th round draft pick, a 5th overall draft pick, I should say. They have not been practicing. That is 2 key pieces of your offensive line and your starting quarterback that are not going to be playing this week. Potentially. They have not been officially ruled out. Those are obviously things you want to monitor as we go through the weekend here. Those are all things that just sort of work against the fact that, okay, if Justin Herbert doesn't play, if the offensive line misses 2 key pieces out of that starting 5, I don't know how much I trust the run game then, because I bet you Kansas City will key in on stopping that ground and force Taylor Heinicke to beat them through the air. And just unfortunately, I don't think he has that sort of ability to sort of do that. I think it's just going to be very, defensive heavy. I bet you the Chiefs will find a way to just sort of win this game through obviously fatigue by the defense having to sort of pull this offense along with them here in week 4. With that, I just don't like J.K. Dobbins. I'm not a huge fan of Gus Edwards as well. So just like this Chargers rushing attack, even though that's the focal point of this offense under Jim Harbaugh this week against the Chiefs, I'm not happy. I'm not liking it.
Well, first off, if Gus Edwards is still on your roster, drop him immediately, because we always, you and I both thought, hey, look, Gus Edwards was my pick to be the winner of this battle.
You did.
I picked wrong. I bet on the wrong horse, but hey, it was funny. I was thinking about this at work the other day. That's how bored I am at work. Where that's a very good case of where the handcuff approach works. I handcuff myself with my main team. I drafted both Dobbins and Edwards, and I'm very happy I did so, because I was a Dobbins doubter, and I just traded him for a player that I will name in our next segment. But no, I'm completely with you. I'm not saying drop Dobbins. Neither one of us are. I think some people who have the panic button, twitchy finger might, but I think hold on to him. He's in for a rough stretch up until Herbert gets back, which apparently maybe after the bye week, Herbert denies those reports. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Chargers. It's like the Chargers are like, no, we're going to save him until after the bye week. And Herbert's like, the hell you are. Like,
well, the big thing for the Chargers that they have on their side is they have their bye week in week 5. So it's like if Casey doesn't play this week, it's just like 2 straight weeks that
Herbert's acting like they're telling him like you're not playing until week 10. He's like, yeah, I am. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird, but
it is weird.
If you want my honest opinion, I think Herbert's trying a little too hard. Not like being a try hard, but trying too hard to get back in too soon. I think the Chargers are doing it. And we talked about this in last week's episode. They did the smart thing, right? We'll take the loss against the Steelers, whatever. We'll take the 2 losses. It's week 5. That's a third of the season. We're not out yet. And I think that's a really smart. And again, that's why Harbaugh is such a good coach, because he's seeing the long game. Where exactly. Herbert, I'm not blaming him or not saying he's stupid or anything, but Herbert, being a good NFL player, is like, no, I want back in. Coach is like, you sit your ass on that couch. Don't you move a muscle. And until then, I don't trust a single Charger. Actually, it was funny. I'll be interested. Well, no, we're not going to do that live. But all right, fine. We'll do it live since I brought it up. So I picked up a receiver, Cortland Sutton, off the waivers.
Okay.
I was happy with it. I understand risky pick. And, that was normal Wednesday waivers. So I was like, okay, great. I got Cortland Sutton. I'm happy with him. I'm sitting there. And then Wednesday night, I get an alert. Someone added Quentin Johnson, but dropped Keenan Allen.
I've seen a lot of drops by Keenan Allen. So I'm actually kind of surprised by that too.
So am I. So instantly I put in the waiver request. And I found out today, actually, over recording, I got Keenan Allen. I dropped Cortland Sutton. But
I'm
still,
fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Thank you. But point being is, I am shocked, and I understand the surface level logic behind that move. I don't think QJ is going to do shit until Herbert gets back. I don't think anyone on this Chargers offense is worth kind of depending on until Herbert gets back. This offense is Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I agree with that. For sure. And the big thing, last thing I'll say about J.K. Dobbins is that he had a bad week against the Steelers as well. If he follows that up with a bad week this week as well, he is a prime trade candidate, because I bet you there's somebody out there who's going to be like, you know what? Those first 2 weeks, I remember you were mentioning that. You're like, I feel he's a flash in the pan type of guy. He had 2 solid weeks, but I think after the bye week, we may see a lot more easier matchups for Dobbins where he can sort of restore his form from those first 2 weeks. So he is a guy, especially with that week 5 bye week, you won't be able to play him in week 5. So that is a key time to trade for this guy, because I think he could still be a top level running back for your fantasy team. And this is like the prime time after this weekend to trade for him, because I bet you could get him for a low cost as well.
Or wait until that week 5 bye week, see if the team that has him drops him, because that reeks.
That's possibility.
If he has 2 bad weeks, that could be like a get off my roster type of guy where you're like,
that's not a bad idea too. That's not a bad idea.
And if he doesn't, if you wake up Wednesday morning, okay, he still has him, then he's still probably very frustrated and just like barely hanging by the thread. So best of both routes. I say just wait until week 5 where I think his value will be at all-time low. Because this sounds weird to say, I 100% agree with him. I think that his stock, again, once Herbert comes back, he's going to be right back where he was.
Yeah. I just think he just had 2 bad matchups, and then now he has the bye week. So this could work in your favor, guys. So that's why it pays to listen to us, because we're giving you good advice here for sure. All right, let's get to the receiver position here. Do you have a start or do you have a sit for me?
I swear to God, we didn't do this on purpose, but speaking of J.K. Dobbins, this is who I traded him for.
Okay.
True. I swear to God, that's true. I swear to God, this is true.
All right.
So I traded J.K. Dobbins because I knew his value was at an all-time high. And so I was like, all right, I have a weakness. I need to shore it up. This was also after 2 back-to-back weak Drake London performances. So I was a little nervous about my receiver. One to find irony. So I start both him and London. Or no. I benched London for this guy this past weekend. Woo, boy, was that a mistake. I traded for Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, he didn't have a great weekend last week, did he?
No.
So Jameson Williams, scored above 10 points in week 1 and week 2, and then he put up 3.
Yeah.
And I benched Drake London for him, who put up 15.
Yeah, he did.
But I will say this. Now I'm starting all 3 now. So I'm starting DJ Moore, Drake London, and by the way, thank you God, DJ Moore, for coming down with that almost Hail Mary. That as a Colts fan, that was perfect. He didn't score, but he got me 50 yards. I will take it. But anyway, so I'm starting all 3 of these receivers. I know what people, it was funny because actually when Cortland Sutton was on my bench, I got an alert from ESPN saying someone on your bench is projected to outscore one of your starters. I'm sure a lot of you get the alert. I was like, who is projected? What? And so I looked, they projected Cortland Sutton to get 10 points and Jameson Williams only get 9.5. That is utterly ridiculous to me. Yes, Jameson Williams had a bad week. I will 100% admit that. But let's look over the course of the last 3 weeks. He's seen over the course of the first 2 weeks, he saw 20 targets. 20 in 2 weeks. That's absolutely an insane amount of value. And I understand the Seahawks, by the way, have an amazing secondary. Probably the most underrated secondary in the entire league. Seahawks fans, can you stop hating me now, please? I just gave you a compliment. Your offensive line, still not that great, but your secondary is fantastic. I'll give you that. They've allowed the fewest yards to opposing receivers. So I understand this is a very tough matchup for Jameson Williams. I understand that Sam LaPorta, as of today recording, is going to play in this game. We'll get to him, but he sucks. He is not, and he sucks, and he's hobbled. So yeah. I think that Jameson Williams is almost going to force himself into this game plan. He may not score a touchdown, but you do not go from 9 targets in week 1 to 11 targets in week 2 to nothing for the rest of the season. I think week 3 was just a weird outlier that he didn't get a lot of targets because I see all that fantasy talk of like, is he real? Is he not? And like just all this talk. We don't know. I'm not going to claim one way or the other, but all I know is the numbers majority slide his way. So I'm a big believer that he's going to get a lot of targets again on Monday night. How about that? Another Monday night doubleheader. So I think that Monday night he's going to get a lot of targets. And if he scores a touchdown, he may win you a game this week.
No, I like it. I think don't fall as far as, victims.
Yeah, don't panic.
He had an outlier week there in week 3. Yeah, I think you got to see that trend of just the first 2 weeks is more of the realization of what we could see from Jameson Williams going forward through the rest of the season. So yeah, don't fall for the, outlier week.
Don't do the Jim Cramer thing and hit the big red button. Don't do it.
Exactly. But Tad, I'm going to give you a receiver that I think easily went ahead of Jameson Williams in most fantasy drafts, but he has not been that successful this entire season. Now, I'm going to give you 3 receivers here, Tad. Jalen Nailor, Trey Tucker, and Ray McCloud. What do you think they all have in common?
Well, not all, because I know Nailor plays for the Vikings, but otherwise, is Trey Tucker the Raiders guy?
He is a Raiders guy,
okay.
Yes.
Who's Ray McCloud with? Is he still
with the Falcons? He's with the Falcons.
He's a Falcon?
Yeah, he's a Falcon right now.
They're all mid.
That you could argue that they're all mid, but here's the key thing: if you're going to call them
mid,
all
by the way, mid we have confirmed is a word.
That is true. But here's the biggest thing: if you're going to call them all mid, what does that say about Michael Pittman Jr.? Because all 3 of them have more fantasy points than Michael Pittman Jr. this year. And that's why I'm saying sit Michael Pittman Jr. in week 4, because my Lord, he has been terrible. So just to give you some of the numbers here, Tad, Jalen Nailor has 35.9 fantasy points in PPR leagues.
Which, by the way, real quick, I'm gonna slide a take in here. I know a lot of people are like, ooh, Nailor, he could be legit. That dude's gonna crash as soon as Addison comes back. Don't fall for that trap.
I agree with that.
Anyway,
I agree with
sorry,
that. Trey Tucker has 30.1 fantasy points in PPR leagues. You got Ray McCloud right now, who's got 22.1 fantasy points.
Shocking.
And here's the biggest thing. Michael Pittman Jr. doesn't even have 20 fantasy points through 3 weeks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 15. It wouldn't even shock me.
Doesn't even have 20. He has 19.8. He is close to it, but not quite. This matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers does not give me any confidence that Michael Pittman Jr. can break the streak right now of averaging 6.6 fantasy points per game, because the Steelers present a very tough defense. I think this is going to be, it's just, maybe this is a rough patch. Tad, I know you're sort of giving me early warnings after I drafted him in our LAFB network lead, but it's just maybe the hope is that he'll clear out this and he'll become the guy that we saw last year with that connection with Gardner Minshew. Maybe Anthony Richardson will carry it over, whatever it is. Because here's the thing. He leads the team in targets as well as receptions. Just unfortunately, it hasn't led to production because he has yet to find the end zone, and in conjunction, like I said, he has yet to score more than 10 fantasy points in any game this season. Indianapolis is also currently in the bottom 5 in the NFL when it comes to passing attempts, and they've run the fewest total plays in the NFL, either passing or rushing in the NFL through 3 weeks of action right now. So yeah, Tad, I know you're against Anthony Richardson. Maybe that's part of the problem, whatever it is, but just it's not funneling through Michael Pittman Jr. He is, like I said, getting a lot of targets and a lot of receptions, but it's not leading to a lot of yards and definitely not leading into the end zone as well. So yeah, until we see some sort of turnaround, it's not going to happen this week against the Steelers. Very tough defense for sure. They're on a hot streak right now with Justin Fields also playing really well. I just don't like the Colts to sort of make things turn around here on offense specifically. So yeah, sit Michael Pittman Jr. this week because he is not going to have a good week again.
Okay, well, first off, Justin Fields playing really well. We're really going to say he's playing really well.
I'm thinking that because I've also
heard better than Richardson, just to show I'm not being a homer. I
think the biggest thing as to why I'm saying he's playing well is because I'm hearing rumors that the Steelers may trade Russell Wilson to a quarterback-hungry team because obviously you got the Vikings with the hobbled Sam Darnold. You obviously got the Tua Tagovailoa situation in Miami. So, I mean, there's a possibility we may see Russell Wilson trade. I really don't think so, but there's a possibility.
That doesn't mean really well. But anyway, point being is, let's go back to my
That game in week 3 was pretty solid. I'm not going to lie.
Solid and really well. Two very different things.
Fair, fine.
We need to come up with a chart. But anyway, no, I told you, man. I saw this coming from a mile away because I told my other friend in our other league. I told him, I'm like, don't do it. He paid like $20 because it was an auction draft. He paid $20 for Michael Pittman. I was like, that's a mistake.
Wait. Hold on a second. You have another friend?
Well played. You and Al have both done that jokes whenever, like Al did that when one of my literal friends was on screen, and then you just pull that. I fucking hate you guys. Anyway, point being is, Chauncey, you're my new favorite. Point being is, I told him not to do it. I told you not to do it. Why does no one listen to me?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because and brace yourself for a shocker. I actually mean this. I usually say that when being sarcastic, but I actually truly mean this. I'm actually not going to place all the blame on Anthony Richardson. I'm going to place some of it on him. Don't get me wrong, but not all of it. It's not totally his fault. This was my main concern for Michael Pittman, is that wide receiver room is now too crowded. And I have another receiver bring up as a perfect example of this is you got Josh Downs, right? This dumbass safety takes him down in the preseason because Chris Ballard is a fucking idiot GM who doesn't know when to play a non-contact drill, and he's a fucking idiot who doesn't know how to draft for his life, but, oh, no, if I don't draft well, that's my job, and oh, well, guess what? Oh, well, motherfucker, you're about to get fired. Okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, you need to
Point being is, Point being is, this is a very crowded wide receiver room. And the perfect example of it is Alec. I told you also that this was going to happen. Alec Pierce killed it week 1. I know that game against the Packers was not great, but Pierce still had a very solid game against the Packers. What did he do against the Texans once Josh Downs comes back from his injury? 2 catches for 44 yards. That's it. So now Alec Pierce, as well as being slowly phased out of this. And don't forget, there's a young up-and-comer who I think will step, especially once, if this season goes off the rails like I'm expecting it to for the Colts, they will let A.D. Mitchell finally step up and start taking some snaps, see what we got in this kid. So that's the whole point, is this is too crowded. Michael Pittman is good, but not good enough to really stand out among all these people that the Colts are trying to decide who do we keep, who don't we. And also, here's where Anthony Richardson comes in. He can't get to any of them. He's got 6 guys. He can't get to any of them. I swear to God, this is a true stat. How many games do you think Anthony Richardson has had a completion rate of 55%?
I'm going to say 0.
Zip! 0! Nilch!
You say nilch?
Nilch. It's 0 and something.
It's nil or zilch. You can't combine the two.
I'm combining them. That's how angry he makes me.
Oh my Lord.
I'm combining languages. Dude, sucks. But yes, no, I 100% completely agree with you. Michael Pittman is one of those players. Again, don't bench him don't drop him, but he's on my bench until further notice.
Yeah, I agree with that because, it's been rough through the first couple of weeks here. And like I said, the Steelers did not present a good matchup. And with the sort of shakiness of what we've seen, from Anthony Richardson through the beginning parts of the season, that doesn't give me a lot of hope as well for this passing offense, particularly. So,
and I will say this. Yeah. So not the same team, but the same night that Keenan Allen got dropped in my league, Anthony Richardson also got dropped in that league. I was very interested to see. I was like, I wasn't touching him because I got Brock Purdy and Jayden Daniels. I'm good. I'm set. I was very interested to see if anyone was going to pick him up, no one did. He is, as of recording, he is still on the waiver wire. He's dropped almost 10% in ESPN leagues in terms of management numbers.
That is crazy. Yeah, that is wild. That is wild. All right, Tad, let's get to the tight end position here. Tad, you got to start, or is it for me here, week 4?
What are my 4 favorite words when it comes to fantasy football?
Don't draft Anthony Richardson.
What is my second 4 favorite words in fantasy football?
Always listen to Ummer.
In this case, those are not the 4 words I was going to say. I think it was you that brought up this point, but I'm going to say, I told you so. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you actually had this take, or this might have been my take. I really don't know. Am I giving you credit for my take?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what the take is first.
Don't you dare start Sam LaPorta.
I won't steal it if it's legitimately yours.
Oh, so it is legitimately mine.
I don't know. I don't know what the take is yet.
I just told you, don't start Sam LaPorta. He sucks.
Oh, yeah. No, that's all you. That's all you.
Oh, thank you. I can't remember if we agreed on that. Oh, no, it was the opposite. That's
still a believer in LaPorta.
That's what happens when we record at 11 p.m. on a Friday. But no, I told you, and this is why I told you, is because most of his production came from 2 or 3 games last season, and the other games came out exactly like what's happening, which is where, and I know I'm going against my traditional, like, this is the stat to look out for. His targets actually weren't bad to start off the season, right? 5 targets, okay, you can't make the most out of it. Not terrible for a tight end. But here's the concerning stat for Sam LaPorta. His targets have been going down. He went from 5 to 3 to 2. That's very worrisome, especially because other than week 3, this offense has looked really good. It'd be different if it would be different if it was like and this even isn't even a perfect example because the Bengals have looked pretty solid, at least offensively. Like if the entire offense has struggled, that would be a different story. Like, all right, LaPorta sucks, Goff sucks, Swift sucks, or Swift, what the hell? Montgomery sucks. I transported back like 3 years ago. Give me a break. Montgomery sucks. Gibbs sucks. Like, if all of them sucked, fine. LaPorta is really the only consistent fantasy disappointment on this offense so far. That's hugely concerning to me. On top of that, he barely cleared in time to be, to play this weekend. The Seahawks, as I said before, I want to know like what they put in the water in Seattle. It's like anytime a defensive player goes there, they're just instantly good. It's truly insane. So I think Detroit might actually win this game. It's going to be tight, but I don't think LaPorta is going to be a huge factor in this. He has yet to score over 11 points a game this season. I'm not a big believer in Porter moving forward. I'm not saying drop him. He's an interesting tight end to keep on your bench. In fact, you could take advantage of that sucker in your league who doesn't really pay that close of attention. It's like, oh, he's giving me Sam LaPorta for who? And then he gets him. He's like, wait, how much has Sam LaPorta scored? Like to me, that's his best value right now as a trade asset. So I'm saying, like, again, bench till further notice. Sam LaPorta, you're on the list, buddy.
I think the biggest thing that maybe is hurting Sam LaPorta's production this year is the emergence of Jameson Williams. I think last year, you look at that offense, it was like we expected Jameson Williams to take that step. Unfortunately, he dealt with more injuries. He just couldn't step up into that pace. We saw a lot of Khalif Raymond opposite of Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously. And so then by de facto, we then saw a lot of force feeding to Sam LaPorta for him to sort of set that rookie tight end reception record and then obviously have the season that he had. Now it's like during season 2 here, we're seeing season 2 of Sam LaPorta. Now the next season here with Jared Goff and the Lions offense under Ben Johnson here, I think we're just seeing Jameson Williams finally emerge and become that secondary option in the passing offense behind ASRB, right? So it's like that's the biggest thing that's like, ARSB. That's the biggest thing. I always get confused the initials there. We just shorten it there. But I think that is the bigger factor where it's like if Jameson Williams was still behind as far as like just not being that secondary option in the passing game, I think we may see, because like you said, you brought up that dwindling target number. So that is a big sign that's like, okay, where are all those targets going? They're going to Jameson Williams. So I think that's the biggest thing. So if Williams was still slow as far as like his adjustment to the NFL, I think we'd see more normalized numbers for him, Sam LaPorta, similar to what we saw last year. But because of that, That's what I'm attributing to more as to why Sam LaPorta has not just been at that level yet. And so, yeah, I 100% agree with Tad. That's like, if you could find somebody who's willing to take Sam LaPorta off your hands, and then you could get a pretty good, because of the name thing.
Yes,
you could probably get a good
and
name in return because of that.
But that name, what I call the name capital of like, oh, it's Sam LaPorta, that's going to start going down pretty quick because people are eventually going to start catching on. So, like, I'll give you another 2 or 3 weeks or so. And again, like, even by now, if your league members are like actually in on fantasy, they know that he's a bust at this point. Because I will repeat my stats from Jameson. Again, I will say Jameson Williams is a start for me. I think this Lions offense will do well against Seattle, just not LaPorta, because Jameson Williams had 9 targets during week 1, 11 targets during week 2. That's 20 targets over 2 games. Those are like true, like, wide receiver. I'm not even just talking fantasy anymore. I'm just talking like on the field.
That's more than LaPorta's had all season.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. 532. Do the math for me. I'm too scared.
It's only 10. That's double the amount.
Carry the 1. Divide the 2. Then you square. That is 10. Good job, dude. I'm proud of you.
I'm going to go with the name that's actually a little bit surprising as far as a start here, but it's more surprising just where his position is in PPR leagues right now.
For this one. I'm so mad.
Mike Gesicki. Gesicki is playing the Carolina Panthers this week. I'm saying start him because he is currently 4th among tight ends and 5th among tight ends, 4th among tight ends in receiving yards, 5th among tight ends in both targets and receptions. He is currently your 7th best tight end in PPR leagues at the tight end position. The Panthers have one of the worst defense in the NFL right now at defending the tight end. They've allowed 15.23 fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends this season. While there's a lot of optimism surrounding Andy Dalton and the offense, I still think that this defense needs some work by the Carolina Panthers. So I think this is where sort of the Cincinnati Bengals go start to take advantage of that. We're seeing the Bengals offense starting to grow a little bit, sort of, shake off that rust to start the season. They're looking a little bit better. We saw Joe Burrow find that connection with Jamar Chase. We also saw him go to Mike Gesicki a lot in that game against the Commanders on Monday night. So I could see Gesicki being that sort of next option behind Chase. T. Higgins is still finding his way back to the field as well. So until T. Higgins fully gets himself back into the offense, like finally getting back to, just being in, that number 2 option behind Chase, I think Gesicki is going to benefit quite a bit here. And so, yeah, I very much like him in a start here against the Carolina Panthers. I think he's going to do some damage.
All right, well, first things first. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say Gesicki, I say Gesicki. So I'm going to stick with Gesicki. But here's why I'm mad. Is someone offered me a trade for Zach Charbonnet, another player I recently traded for. Yeah, trades are back, baby. That Zach Charbonnet trade, that was so timely. That was great. But point being is, I was like, yeah, I'll look at it. He was like, good, I need another running back. I'm running back thin, and I looked at my bench. I'm like, shit, so am I. So I can't. Charbonnet's the only running back on my bench. I was like, crazy. I need to fix. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I really need to fix that. So then I looked at the waiver. I'm like, there's really no one else there, but then I saw one name. I'm like, this is a good speculative ad. I felt very good about this ad, but I had to drop on my darlings. And I was just like, do I do this guy? But this guy, it was just like, it was Sophie's fucking choice. I was like, what do I do? And I had to drop Gesicki. And it hurts because I completely 100% agree with you. I think Gesicki is a monster waiting in the shadows. This dude is clearly a focal point of this offense. It's just the fact that this whole offense hasn't been working is the reason he hasn't been producing in fantasy. And I really do believe this is going to happen eventually. This offense is going to start clicking. And once it does, he's going to be a Hunter Henry, like peak type of Chargers, peak like Patriot. What was his original team? It was the Patriots, right? I'm getting them mixed up.
No, Gesicki started with the Dolphins.
Not Gesicki, Hunter Henry.
Oh, Hunter Henry. No, he started with the Chargers.
Okay, yeah. Like Hunter Henry, like peak Chargers, that's the type of production. Like some weeks he's going to do really, really well for you. Other weeks he's going to be a really big disappointment. But those weeks he does well for you, he's going to win you that damn game. And you're going to look like a genius. I think that's the type of performance you're going to see from Gesicki going forward. I think he is and he's only rostered in like 40% of ESPN leagues right now.
Yeah, he's pretty low. He's widely available.
And that's why I was like, I don't want to let you go. It was like letting Jack go at the end of Titanic. Like, I know you're so good. I'm sorry. I got the diamond. See ya, buddy. And so I let him go. I picked up Braylon Allen, which I think is a very interesting speculative ad. Might come up in next week's waiver wire episode. Stay tuned.
Good.
But bottom line being is like, that's why I hate you. Because I completely agree with you. He's a very interesting ad, especially like everybody's always tight end hungry, right?
That's true.
He's a good ad right now. And like I said, if you're on ESPN, he's available in 60% of leagues. I'm willing to bet if you're listening to this, he's available in yours. That is a very good bench ad right now. He's better than fucking Tajay Spears. Drop that dude. He's not getting shit.
All right, Ted, let's really quickly get to our defenses and kickers. Who do you got for me at both positions?
Just to prove I'm putting my money where my mouth is, I'm starting this defense in both of my leagues I actually care about. Sorry, Bianca. I'm starting the Miami Dolphins defense.
Okay.
I'm very nervous about it, but I'm going to do it. Now, they've been, as we proved is a word, pretty mid so far. They scored 6 points in week 1, 0 points in week 2 against the Bills, 7 points last week. Good, not great. But how about this? Do you know who the Miami Dolphins are playing this week? I believe you already brought it up.
Actually don't. Who are they playing this week?
They're playing Captain Mayo, Will Levis, and the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans. Okay.
And this is a crazy stat. This is what solidified this decision to both add them to my team and add them to our podcast is the Tennessee. This is insane. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. The Tennessee Titans offense has allowed opposing defenses to score double-digit points against them 3 out of 3 weeks so far this season.
Wow.
And not just small either. Week 1, it was 24. Week 2, it was 11. Week 3, it was 20.
That's impressive.
That is impressive, especially for a Colts fan. I love it. So, by the way, yes, I know the Dolphins aren't in the best spot, and trust me, we're going to get into that and with my next pick. But I still think that this, nothing against Will. I don't actually think it's Will Levis's fault. I just think that this team has been just kind of like, what's the word? Like, just put together with like scraps. Where it's just like, DeAndre, get in there. What's this? Skronsky, you look good as a rookie. Get in there. It's just like, what are we doing? We're just like kind of like throwing pieces in there. Like, you got to build a team cohesively. It just seems like Tennessee has just been like, we're okay. Oh, we're okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know. So
this is like trying to build the arc reactor at Stark Industries, but you don't have Tony Stark, but he's able to do it in a cave all by himself. It's like, that's exactly
what exactly. It's just like, yeah, you're the Titans, and then you're looking over at Minnesota. You're like, oh, come on.
Yeah. And then in comes Obadiah Stane saying, like, Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
That's the Bengals guy they just hired. Like, come on. Sam Darnold in a cave.
Exactly.
Sam Darnold is the arc reactor.
Wow. Never thought I'd get that comparison.
Sam
Darnold and the arc reactor.
What the hell is going on this season?
I don't know. What you got a kicker for me?
Oh, I got a very easy sit for you. I'm telling you, sit Jason Sanders. First off, that dude is good for at least one miss a game. I feel like every time on Red Zone, it's like Sanders for the 50, and I'm sitting there with like chips in my lap, be like, he's gonna miss it. Wide right.
Why are the chips just in your lap? Why don't you get a bowl?
It's more comfy in your lap.
Then you wonder why Cap is fat. That's probably why.
He does not eat. He steals a couple, but it's fine. Point being is Sanders is good for at least one missed game. And on top of this, so I don't know if you saw this. So Mike McDaniel's doing actually, this is the rare case where I actually kind of understand it, where no one knows when Miami comes out on offense this Sunday. No one really knows who's going to come out at quarterback. Could be Tyler Huntley, could be Tim Boyle, could be Ryan Tannehill for the fuck all we know. We would know at this point. I understand that. I was going for the joke. Before people start commenting like, you idiot. Like, no, I got you. I was going for the joke.
They'll comment that for other reasons.
But there was an interesting quote where Tyreek Hill seemed to slip up. Did you see this?
I missed this. No.
So this was very savvy by this Miami Herald reporter. Miami Herald reporter apparently asked him, he's like, so how do you feel about your current quarterback situation? And Tyreek Hill said something along the lines of like, I feel good, which of course you do, but you really don't. I feel good. I feel confident. I've been practicing with Tim all week. And people are like, whoa, wait, what, man, what? So, Amir, do you want to hear an amazing stat?
Okay, let's hear it.
I swear to God, I ran over these numbers 3 times because it's me and numbers you can never be too sure. I swear to God, these are 100% accurate. Going all the way back to college, would you like to hear Tim Boyle's touchdown to interception ratio?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Since his time at UConn.
UConn, okay.
Spanning all the way to now, to present day, Tim Boyle, in his entire football career post-high school, has thrown for 16 touchdowns and 38 interceptions.
That's rough.
How is someone like that
more
in the
than
NFL?
double the interceptions to touchdown?
How is someone like that an NFL starter potentially this coming someday? And okay, you know what? Fine. Maybe it's all a smoke screen, which is kind of my prediction. Is that
I'm very curious to see what Nathan Peterman's touchdown to interception ratio is.
I'll do it while you give your picks.
Okay.
Well, wait, you want me to go all the way back to college or just pros? Because that was simple.
I think college will take a lot of time. But yeah, pros is probably very horrific.
I'll see what I can do. Okay. Anyway, point being is Tim Boyle, Tyler Huntley, I don't give a shit. This Dolphins offense was already stunted with Tua in there. It's just going to continue to be stunted. I don't trust anyone. Well, I shouldn't say that. Waddle and Tyreek, interesting pieces to watch. But other than that, I'm out. Including A-Chain, by the way. I'm out on A-Chain.
I was about to ask. I was like, even A-Chain.
Even A-Chain. I'm out.
All right.
Raheem Mostert, my friend, he was questionable. I think that's why A-Chain's been. It was the same thing that happened last year. Mostert's out for a couple weeks. A-Chain, everyone's like, oh my God, he's amazing. He scored 50 points. Mostert comes back, and all of a sudden A-Chain's nothing. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be exactly the same case, but I think A-Chain's production is going to drop him down to like a solid flex.
All right. Interesting here. So I'm going to start with defense here first. I'm going to go with the sit here. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills here, Tad.
I actually agree with that. I like this pick.
Everyone was clamoring about this amazing start by the New Orleans Saints and how many points they were putting up. And then obviously they throw up that dud against the Philadelphia Eagles in week 3. But during that same span, the Bills have also been putting up a fair amount of points through 3 weeks of action here. They scored 47 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and now they lead the NFL in most points scored because they had 2 solid weeks before that to start the season as well. And so it's like, you look at that, you'd be like, all right, well, I mean, you look at the Ravens defense here, you're going to be like, all right, they have not been all that stellar this year. It's like they have allowed 78 points through 3 weeks of NFL action so far, which is tied for the 8th most in the NFL. And you'll be like, all right, well, they played the Chiefs and the Cowboys, 2 very good offenses. But the kicker is that in week 2, they played the Las Vegas Raiders. Not exactly an offense you're going to be writing home about. And so the fact that it's like you're still allowing that many points through 3 weeks of action, that sort of worries me as far as the start to the season for that defense. They've only forced 3 turnovers all season long, and they've allowed the most passing yards. Yep, they've also allowed the most passing yards in the NFL so far as well. So you look at Josh Allen, this Bills offense, he had a very cryptic quote that's not so cryptic where he's like, it's nice to be in an offense where you don't have anybody that demands the ball. No.
He swore that wasn't about Diggs. He promised.
So take it for what you want, but that's sort of saying something where it's just like he's spreading the ball. You're getting a lot of involvement from lots of different players on this Bills offense. It seems to be working because they're putting up a ton of points. Josh Allen is looking to prove my theory wrong. I had a bold prediction saying that he was going to finish outside the top 5. It's not looking that way through 3 weeks of the season. He's looking like he'll finish as QB1 again. Yeah, he has been looking sensational so far. But I still think because of that, this Ravens defense, because they're looking a little iffy, and Josh Allen, the Bills offense has been looking really strong, I'm saying sit the Ravens defense this week. It is not a good start this week.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think getting rid of Stephon Diggs was the best thing this Bills offense has done in like years.
Maybe.
It's so weird because, and this is not taking my own. This is a take I heard on the radio the other day where I think it was so much of like, shit, we got to give it to Diggs. We got to give it to Diggs. We got to give it to Diggs. And now it's like, what if we spread out the ball? It's like, oh, this is amazing. They don't know where we're going to throw it.
Open
yeah, exactly.
They're like, worried about who's going to get the ball.
Exactly. And that was the whole point the radio guy was making. He was like, they don't know where he's going to throw it. And now it's like, oh, shit. Because before it was just like, deep to Diggs. And it was just like doing that. So like, no, I'm with you. How about this for a hot take? This Bills offense is what the Chiefs wish they were.
Yeah, it's possible. It's very, very possible.
By the way, for an extra wide receiver, don't you dare start Xavier Worthy. Don't you do it. That was a flash in the pan. That was a cool week 1 trick. Don't do it.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Khalil Shakur is a more trustworthy receiver right now than Xavier Worthy.
He's been more trustworthy. I'll give you that for sure. Sit the Ravens defense at the kicker position. 100%. I'm going to say we've been talking about the Seahawks and the Lions matchup a couple times already this episode. I'm saying start Jason Myers, the kicker.
I told you to sit him.
I said to start him this week.
Jason Myers.
Jason Myers. Jason Myers.
Sid
Teams
Sanders.
have kicked 2 field goals against the Lions every week this season. Seattle should be able to keep it close with the Detroit Lions this week, and this could get Myers at least 2 field goals this week. Myers has made 6 field goals this season out of a possible 7. That one miss came from 50 plus, which is sort of justifiable here. But yeah, I like Jason Myers in his spot start. If you're looking to stream a kicker this week, I think he can get a good amount of points this week.
I mean, this Seattle offense looks surprisingly. I know they didn't have the best week 1 performance, to say the least. 2 safeties in the same half. Come on, guys. But ever since then, they've looked really good. Charbonnet killed it. Kenneth Walker's on his way back. Tyler Lockett is a guy. It was funny. Last weekend, Tyler Lockett got dropped. On Wednesday, Tyler Lockett's pickup rate just skyrocketed. I'm like, yeah, guys, like you got all 3 of them are good. Like just if you have Njigba, if you have Metcalf, if you have Lockett, just hold on to them. It's going to be an up and down ride, I know, but just hold on to them. Don't drop them, because when you drop them, they're going to score 20. But no, I love both those picks. I completely agree with both those picks, especially the Ravens, right? Yeah, I had that big name team. They're like, it's the Ravens defense. They're always going to show up for me. Not necessarily, especially against the Bills in prime time. I'm not trusting anyone on that defense except for Roquan Smith, because I think he may murder me if I say I don't trust him. But anyway, you're really good, Roquan. So I have some stats for you. First off, do you know where Nathan Peterman originally went to college? Because I did not.
Originally went to college.
He was not originally a Pitt Panther.
No, that's the only college that I know, so I don't know where he originally went.
He was a transfer from the Tennessee Volunteers.
So University of Tennessee.
Just finding this out right now. Now, okay, this his college stats kind of shoot a hole in our sails here. In college, he threw for 40, and this is his career, 47 touchdowns, 17 interceptions.
Wow. Okay.
I know. Okay. Surprisingly good, right? I was like, shit, this may not be as funny.
Or the reason why he got drafted then, I guess.
Yeah, probably. In his 8 seasons in the NFL, you ready for this?
8 seasons.
8 seasons. Most of them with the Raiders somehow. Yeah. Different regimes of Raiders too. I don't know. It makes no logical sense. It's so weird.
The other regime believed in him. We should too. The other regime believed in him. We should too. That's exactly what happens. Probably.
I swear to God, this is true. In 8 seasons in the NFL, Nathan Peterman has had 4 passing touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
Oh God. Not the same numbers as a Tim Boyle, obviously, as high, obviously, but just it is not a good ratio that you want.
Tim Boyle, Nathan Peterman. Oh God. Don't trust either of their kickers.
I agree with that.
You know you should trust though.
Us?
Oh, come on. I was trying to do a transition. The one time I tried to lead a transition. Damn it.
Yeah, I didn't quite pick up on that there.
I pointed to you.
I will close out on our episode here of Start Sits here in week 4. In case we got to a start sit that we didn't discuss and you need some help with your start sit decisions, hit us up on our social media handles. You see the ticker coming right down there below. You got us on Twitter. You got me at Otherside23, Tad at TadSide94, got the show handle at The Decide Guys, and of course on Instagram at The Decide Guys as well. Hit us up. We'll give you some start sit advice. We'll give you waiver wire help as well as trade advice. We've already brought up a couple trade scenarios in this week's episode, but we'll give you more personalized trade advice for your respective leagues. All you have to do is hit us up on our social media handles, and we'll give you all the advice that you need to help you win your fantasy leagues this year. We want to help you win as many fantasy titles as we can, guys. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And please support our parent network at LAFB Network. They're giving you a lot of great content when it comes to the Rams and the Chargers at the professional level and the Bruins and the Trojans when it comes to the college football level. Lots of great content coming from a lot of great content producers about all 4 LA football teams. But guys, to everybody who's already interacting with us on social media, who's listening to the podcast, who's watching the videos, just anything and everything that you're doing to support the podcast, we can't thank you enough.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, this is a very easy thing to do. Just hit back right now, go to the Shorts tab right above you, and check out our YouTube Shorts, which is dropping same day of release as this episode for our favorite NFL bets week 4. And if you're on if you're a podcast listener, Spotify listener, wherever you listen, just go your nearest YouTube app. Go to YouTube on your computer. Again, go to the LAFB Network YouTube channel. You'll see a little tab at the top, Shorts. Hit, you'll see right at the top, favorite week 4 bets, courtesy of our partners at Underdog Fantasy, is another one of our weekly segments that we love to do. And we love to not only win you guys fantasy games, but we love to win you some money as well. So be sure to check that out. And so, as always, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And please stay safe, everyone.